Breakthrough improvements and effective teamwork can be achieved through Kaizen events. In this Kaizen event course, we will cover the following topics: Kaizen Overview, Kaizen Event Selection, Kaizen Event Preparation, Kaizen Event Current Standard, Kaizen Event Rapid Change, Kaizen Event Improved Standard, Kaizen Event Report Out, and Kaizen Event WrapUp. Let's get started with the Kaizen Overview. So what is Kaizen? Kaizen is a Japanese term that means improvement or change for good. What is a Kaizen event? A Kaizen event or Kaizen workshop is a highly focused improvement project with a limited scope. What is the objective of a Kaizen event? Its objective is to rapidly meet breakthrough performance goals, typically within 1 week. Now that we covered the Kaizen overview, let's see how a Kaizen event is selected. Kaizen events should take place where improvement opportunities are revealed. These improvement opportunities can be revealed through work area performance boards or a value stream map. These tools are covered in a separate training. From the improvement opportunities revealed, management selects and scopes Kaizen events in a way that it meets the business performance needs and is likely to be achieved by a small Kaizen event team. Once the Kaizen event has been selected, it is time for the Kaizen event preparation. In order for a Kaizen event to be successful, several activities need to occur prior to the actual Kaizen event. As you can see, this is a list of those activities and when they might be scheduled to occur. First, management defines all the elements of the Kaizen charter. The focus area is a process area or product needing to be improved by the Kaizen event. The Kaizen name is a unique name that typically includes the process area or product and the metric being improved. For example, line 123 lead time or product ABC throughput. The Kaizen objective should be SMART, which means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For example, the objective is to increase product ABC throughput from 100 units per hour to 125 units per hour by the end of the Kaizen event. Kaizen events are typically limited in scope and are laser focused. In most cases, Kaizen events are focused on only one key performance indicator. As an example, a Kaizen event can focus on lead time, throughput, or productivity. In the Kaizen charter, each key performance indicator to be improved by the Kaizen event team has to be listed, including the current and target condition. Calculating the process takt time will be needed when documenting the key performance indicators of the Kaizen event. Takt time is based on the expected customer demand and the time available to perform the required work. Once the key performance indicators information has been filled out, it is time to work on the Kaizen event team. The Kaizen coach, often called the Kaizen facilitator, should be the manager or supervisor responsible for the key performance indicator being improved. This ensures that the Kaizen coach is someone with a vested interest in the team's success. The Kaizen coach helps encourage their team and removes team roadblocks. The Kaizen event leader, the co-leader, and team need to be selected carefully. The leader and the co-leader should be someone who is well respected by those working in the targeted area. It is not necessary for them to be a supervisor or a manager. Many times, the best leaders and co-leaders are those who are experienced or subject matter experts in the work area. Teams should always include people who perform the work in the focus area. In some cases, it may be helpful to include representatives of the suppliers and customers of the process the Kaizen is focusing on. All team members must be committed and permitted to participate full-time for the duration of the Kaizen event, which typically is 1 week. The last section of the Kaizen charter is the timeline. Here, management defines the day and hour commitment needed by the entire Kaizen event team. The workdays can be quite long. Make sure everyone on the Kaizen event team understands the needed commitment and has made the necessary plans prior to the event to minimize Kaizen event distractions. Once the Kaizen charter has been defined, the second aspect of the Kaizen event preparation is to get the Kaizen focus area ready for event week. The primary goal is to ensure that the Kaizen team will have all the information and supplies it needs to quickly engage in the Kaizen event. Typically, the Kaizen coach and the Kaizen event leader will be involved in these activities, with limited assistance from the Kaizen team members. In addition, the Kaizen coach works with the manager of the Kaizen focus area to create a plan for minimizing any disruption to production due to Kaizen preparation and/or the Kaizen activity performed by the Kaizen team. Everyone involved must be notified and scheduled to attend the Kaizen event so they can make the appropriate plans. It is a good practice to invite key members of leadership to the kickoff event and attend the daily and final report out sessions. Once the team has been notified and scheduled, the Kaizen coach schedules a meeting with the Kaizen leader to discuss the reason and objectives of the Kaizen event they are going to be leading. All Kaizen-related supplies and tools needed during the Kaizen event week must also be available. This includes cleaning supplies, display boards, labels, special equipment, cameras, stopwatches, meeting rooms, etc. Once the Kaizen leader has been properly informed about the Kaizen they are going to lead, he or she identifies any gaps in the Kaizen-related performance data. All gaps in the Kaizen-related performance data must be filled prior to the Kaizen. A data collection plan must be created and implemented. A plan for providing meals for the Kaizen team should be made about a week before the Kaizen event. On the day of the event, everyone involved should attend the Kaizen kickoff meeting. It is always a good idea to have a member of the senior leadership team motivate and encourage the team. Once the Kaizen event has been properly prepared, it is time to execute the Kaizen event. In the kickoff meeting, the first order of business is to make sure everyone on the Kaizen team understands the Kaizen objective and why it is so important. Once the kickoff meeting is over, the first task is to have each team member observe and study the process being improved. While doing so, have each team member document every instance of waste or non-value-add activity identified. After the team studies the process and documents all non-value-added activities, it is time to document the steps in the process. Try to split the overall process into 10 to 20 smaller process steps. It is recommended that no step is larger than 1/10 of the overall cycle, and no step should be smaller than 1/20th of the overall cycle time. Once the steps are listed, it is time to capture the actual times required to perform each step in the process. If possible, get times for 10 individual cycles. This will help understand the average cycle times and variation at each process step. This tool is called a standard work combination sheet. It is a key component of standardized work. For each process step, split the average time for every step into one of these 5 categories: value add, non-value add wait time, non-value add walk time, other non-value add time, and auto time. Auto time is processing time where the operator can leave a machine to do other work while the machine continues running automatically. Once the data has been entered, examine the following information shown in this tool. Observe the cycle time displayed by the Gantt chart in relation to the takt time shown by the purple line. Observe the non-value-added process steps indicated in red. Observe the efficiency percentage. Efficiency is calculated by dividing the value-added portion of the overall cycle time by the total cycle time. Observe the percent load. We want each operator to be as close to 100% loaded as possible without going over 100%. If more than one operator is being used in this process area and each operator only performs a portion of the overall process steps, a standard work combination sheet will be needed for each operator in the process. Based on the results of the standard work combination sheet, add to this list all non-value-add issues that were not already documented. This tool is called a percent loading chart or a line balancing chart. For work areas with more than one operator and each operator performs only a portion of the overall process steps, this tool can be used to see how loaded or how balanced the workload is across each operator. You typically want each operator to be as close to 100% loaded as possible, without going over 100%. The data used in this tool is automatically read from the standard work combination sheet for each operator. In this example, we only have one operator. With a takt time of 100 seconds and a cycle time of 174 seconds, this operator is 174% loaded. The cycle time needs to be reduced to 100 seconds, or an additional person would need to be added to this work area to keep up with demand. Based on the results of the percent loading chart, list any non-value issues found that were not already documented. This tool is called a standard worksheet. It is also a key component of standardized work. This tool displays the current physical layout of the process, including the sequence or order all work is to be performed. Based on the results of the standard worksheet, list any non-value issues found that were not already documented. In Kaizen events where the area being improved has a capacity unable to meet customer demand, it is necessary to perform a process capacity analysis. To use this tool, start by entering the processing time, which is the time it takes for the manual portion of the process to be complete. Then, enter the auto or machine cycle time, which is any time beyond the manual cycle time where a machine continues processing a unit in a way that it prevents the start of the next unit to be processed. Changeover time is also accounted for in this analysis. It is the time required to change over the process from one setup to the next. Changeovers may occur due to producing a mixed model of units that require different settings, materials, or equipment. Changeovers can also be due to other reasons, such as required equipment cleaning schedules. The volume between changeovers is the average number of units that can be processed prior to a changeover event. If either the changeover time or the changeover frequency is high, capacity may be significantly affected. The last two items this analysis accounts for is scheduled runtime and unscheduled downtime. Once all the previous data has been entered, the tool will then display the total process capacity. Based on the results of the capacity analysis, list any non-value issues that were not already documented. In Kaizen events where changeover time needs to be reduced, this changeover tool can be very useful. It all begins by listing each step in the changeover. Then, place an X under the time required to complete each changeover step. Be sure to separate the internal activities from the external activities. Internal activities are activities that cannot be performed until production has stopped. External activities are activities that can be performed prior to shutting down production. Based on the results of the changeover tool, list any non-value issues that were not already documented. In Kaizen events where raw material is used to produce a product or service, having only the material quantities that are absolutely needed is very important. Too much material is very expensive for any company. Not enough material can result in a wide range of inefficiencies such as low productivity and late orders. Determining the current material situation can be accomplished by using the inventory analysis tool. A materials specialist will be needed for this analysis. The first step is to document the average quantity this material is on hand. Next, you'll need to enter the number of work days per week and work weeks per year. Then, enter the forecasted annual consumption. Next, you'll want to enter the safety stock. The amount of safety stock required is based on the supplier's ability to deliver reliably to the supplier lead time agreement. It is also based on the amount of demand fluctuation. Although there are many different approaches to calculating the amount of safety stock required, an equation such as the one displayed can be often used. Once the safety stock is determined, document the price the company pays for each unit. And finally, enter the supplier lead time. This is the time it takes for the supplier of a given material to replenish the inventory once an order is placed. The tool will then display the number of inventory turns per year, the average days of supply, the average inventory costs, and the status on the material being analyzed. Based on the results of the material analysis tool, list any non-value issues found that were not already documented. Based on the results of all the team's work to this point, list any non-value issues found that were not already documented. Once all non-value added opportunities have been identified, it is time to plan and implement the rapid change. Based on the impact each instance of waste is likely to have on the Kaizen objectives, the capability of your team, and the time left to implement change, choose which instances of waste your team will be focused on eliminating or at least minimizing. This requires a just-do-it attitude. The Kaizen coach and the Kaizen leader will help guide the team through this phase and safeguard against over-engineering or developing a solution that is too complex to implement quickly. This may require constant reminders that the best solutions are simple and easily implemented. The most elegant solution will not be effective if it cannot be implemented and sustained. Once the rapid changes have been performed, it is time to document the improved standard. After the team has made all the changes within the scope of the Kaizen event, it is time to document the steps in the process. Just as it was with the current state time studies, try to split the overall process into 10 to 20 smaller process steps. It is recommended that no step is larger than 1/10 of the overall cycle, and no step should be smaller than 1/20 of the overall cycle time. Once the steps are listed, it is time to capture the actual times required to perform each step in the process. If possible, get times for 10 individual cycles. This will help understand the average cycle times and variation at each process step. This standard work combination sheet will be part of the new standardized work. For each process step, split the average time for every step into one of these 5 categories: value add, non-value add wait time, non-value add walk time, other non-value add time, and auto time. Remember, auto time is processing time where the operator can leave a machine to do other work while the machine continues running automatically. Observe the cycle time displayed by the Gantt chart in relation to the takt time shown by the purple line. Observe the efficiency percentage. Efficiency is calculated by dividing the value-added portion of the overall cycle time by the total cycle time. Observe the percent load. We want each operator to be as close to 100% loaded as possible without going over 100%. If more than one operator is being used in this process area and each operator only performs a portion of the overall process steps, a standard work combination sheet will be needed for each operator in the process. Using the percent loading chart, make sure all operators are fully and equally loaded. You typically want each operator to be as close to 100% loaded without going over 100%. In most cases, the amount of operators needed in a work area will include a partial operator. In this example, 1.23 operators are needed to keep up with demand. The partial operator should be given additional non-work area related work to be fully loaded. Using the standard worksheet, draw out the new work sequence of the work to be performed. In Kaizen events, where increasing capacity is a key deliverable, the team will want to repeat the capacity analysis to see the results the improvements had on the new process capacity. In Kaizen events where changeover time needs to be reduced, this changeover tool can be very useful. It all begins by listing each step in the changeover. Then, place an X under the time required to complete each changeover step. Be sure to separate the internal activities from the external activities. Internal activities are activities that cannot be performed until production has stopped. External activities are activities that can be performed prior to shutting down production. We will want to convert as many internal activities as possible to external activities to reduce downtime. Any remaining internal activities should be the first priority for elimination, or at least reducing the time required to perform the activity. Once all internal activities have been made as efficient as possible, see if there are any time reductions possible for the external activities as well. They may not affect downtime, but they consume resources and should be performed as efficiently as possible. Once all changeover improvements are made, be sure to document the new changeover process. In Kaizen events where raw material is used to produce a product or service, having only the material quantities that are absolutely needed is very important. Too much material is very expensive for any company. Not enough material can result in a wide range of inefficiencies, such as low productivity and late orders. Determining the best balance between too much material and too little material can be accomplished by using the Kanban size tool. The first step is to document how often a unit is completed. This will determine the float rate of the process. Next, document the supplier lead time. This is the time it takes for the supplier of a given material to replenish the inventory once an order is placed. Next, you'll want to enter the safety stock. The amount of safety stock required is based on the supplier's ability to deliver reliably to the supplier lead time agreement. It is also based on the amount of demand fluctuation. Once the safety stock is determined, document the current scrap rate or percentage followed by the price the company pays for each unit. The tool will then display the average Kanban or container size, the average inventory on hand, and the average inventory costs. Once the improved process standards are in place, the Kaizen team will need to implement a visual tool to display the improved output standards. This tool will enable management to easily identify the worker's ability to meet its performance standards. Once the improved standard has been updated, it is time for the Kaizen event report out. The team should prepare and present the Kaizen results to leadership and any other interested key stakeholders. Plan for senior leaders to support the Kaizen team by attending their Kaizen presentations. Every change made by the Kaizen team should be documented and presented by the team. The Kaizen event may close with a few outstanding items that could not be completed within the week. These activities need to be tracked and closed within 30 days of the Kaizen event. The Kaizen results are presented during the Kaizen final report out. It is used to help communicate the work area's performance before and after the Kaizen event. And finally, once the results have been presented, it is time to wrap up the Kaizen event. As part of the Kaizen event wrap-up, be sure to celebrate and encourage team participation and achievements. Once the actual Kaizen event is complete, the Kaizen leader stays connected for 90 days to audit the Kaizen event's effectiveness. These audits help evaluate and sustain the improvements made. They are also a good way to get constructive feedback from the people working in the area where the changes were made. In addition, the audits verify that the changes made are being practiced regularly by the workforce. Congratulations on finishing this powerful training. If you're enrolled in our certification program, click on the Final Exam button when you're ready. Once we receive your exam results, our team will schedule a live workshop to combine hands-on experience with your newly acquired academic skill set. Once the exam and hands-on workshop are complete, our team will provide you with an internationally recognized certification. If you're not yet enrolled in our certification program and would like to be, click the I Want to Get Certified button.